Let's talk more about working with our paraprofessionals in special education because we know they are so important to an effective classroom. So if you're having a hard time utilizing your paraprofessionals in your special education classroom, I'm here to help. After being in special education as a teacher for 8 years, I have 5 tips that you can use to effectively utilize your paraprofessionals. 1, be prepared and organized. First and foremost, you need to be prepared and organized because your student needs to know, or your staff needs to know too. It can be difficult if you don't have a plan or a guide of how to do something. So how do you expect your paraprofessionals to understand? Paraprofessionals need to see your plans, your expectations, and the outcomes to help them be best prepared and organized as well. Paraprofessionals are conditioned to go with the flow. Sometimes something unexpected comes up and you must be able to roll with it. They will take some time to watch and observe how you handle situations, but if you keep not taking action, they won't either. And if they constantly feel supported by the teacher, but the teacher is unprepared or not organized and is just throwing stuff together last minute, it can be super frustrated for them. They may not know how to jump in and help because you aren't helping either. It can be very difficult for paraprofessionals to know what questions they need to ask, what the objective is, and what is the expectation. So here's my advice. Plan ahead. Know how they are going to be utilized, and give them advanced consideration in the individual of who is there and who wants to support you. 2, data collection. Paraprofessionals want to support data collection. Your life revolves around it, so ensuring that you have appropriate data is imperative. Train your paraprofessionals and your aides to take data and go into great detail. If you have to provide your paraprofessional in training, then set aside time to do so. It will be worth it. I typically show my assistants how I want data to be collected for about a week or so. Then I let them take over and ask questions for a week or so after that. Allow the assistant to be your data keeper and keep them invested in it as much as you are. This will help you tremendously. Make sure to effectively utilize your paraprofessional by, having them take data for you in any area of the student's day. It doesn't have to be an IEP goal. Number 3, make sure to empower your paraprofessionals. Find those teaching moments where paraprofessionals too can learn more about special education. Teach them tips and tricks for working with your students that you found really helpful. You also want to acknowledge when they are doing a great job. Let them know that you liked how they, handled a situation or worked with a student or taught a lesson. Nothing is worse than being a paraprofessional and feeling like you did a bad job. You didn't measure up or that you aren't helping. To avoid this, as a teacher, you want to have to make sure that you have realistic expectations of them too. It's important to have those expectations, but it's more important than they are realistic. So think about your paraprofessionals and their abilities, and make sure that what you are asking of them is actually realistic. Consider the time frame that you want something done, or their knowledge level, or their capabilities to do this, or any other factors that you see fit. Number 4, make sure to delegate those tasks to your paraprofessionals. Do yourself a favor and delegate that workload. There's no need to run around stressed out, overwhelmed, and staying at school late, which we all do. Delegate that workload. Trust your paraprofessional to do something. Train them. Your paraprofessional is there to support you and to support the students. Allow them to be that person for you in the classroom. They want to feel needed. They want to help. Give them that opportunity, and you may surprise yourself with how freeing it can be to not have to do it all on your own all the time. Also, you need to look at your paraprofessionals and their strengths. If they are very crafty and enjoy making bulletin boards, let them do that. If they're really strong in math, let them take over a lesson a few times or a part of a lesson. Find those opportunities to let them shine in their own strengths. And the 5th thing I have for you is have clear guidance. When delegating work, it is important to set clear guidelines. This goes back to those realistic expectations. I've had paraprofessionals do a huge portion of my data collecting. Make sure to train your paraprofessionals so that they can to create their own schedule or to get it done. It's important to let them know exactly how they need to do it and set a time frame. As a teacher, it is important that we stick to what the guidelines that we stated. Therefore, if it's a reoccurring task, keep it consistent and allow your word to be reliable. Be there for them. If you're looking for something to keep this all in one place, all this communication, make sure to check out my paraprofessional binder in my TPT store for more information about how to have effective communication with your paraprofessionals. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're new here, make sure to click that like and subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. Click the bell to get notifications for when new videos get released or I go live. As always, leave a comment if you have any questions.